everybody. So hopefully, I don't think we've got the right camera. Just a minute. Things are not working. I'm on this new thing. It's not working. Just a second. So it just switched me all over to the wrong thing. I'm going to have to change the camera. Default. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me and see me. Just a second, I got to see if I can see me. Okay, so when people start coming in, let me know if you're coming in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see anything tonight. Trying this new Facebook live thing, and I'm not sure about this. So hopefully you'll be able to see me. I'm going to try reloading it on my phone and see. Oh, I'm here. Not sure if I can hear myself or not. Are people coming in? Okay, people can hear me. I can see and hear. Okay, cool. Cool. Because the first thing it did, I hit live, and the first thing it did was switch me to the other camera. Immediately took me off my camera I normally use. And I'm like, okay. Good. Everybody's seeing me? Okay, so you can see me and hear me. I have no idea how many people are coming in or anything because I can't see any of that on the screen. That's really weird. So event logs, I don't know what actions, I don't know what all this means. So put up with me tonight. Hopefully it works. We'll see if we can make it through. Hi, everybody. So I got my phone here, and I'm going to go get a little stand to set my phone on so that I can see, because it tells me how many people are in and stuff like that. I am seeing the messages you're sending, so make sure you keep sending those to me, okay? Because I can't see now, like the little likes and the little hearts and stuff. I can't see any of that on the screen right now. So this is very strange. Just a second, I gotta get my stand. So I'll set my phone up here so I can see it too. And that'll help me know if we're getting people in and everything. So just a second. All right, looks like people are coming in. Hi, everybody. Oops, second, I think I can scroll down. Hello. Oh, yep, bunch of people are here. But everybody's able to hear me okay, right? I mean, the other Facebook Live, like the interface that I use, tells me that the microphone's working, and there's nothing on this one that tells me the mic's working. Because you have to like make sure you got the right camera chosen, because there's a camera and a microphone in the computer, and then there's one that I'm using. I use this webcam, and as soon as I hit the button, it showed up and it was on the camera on the computer. So I had to switch then to this camera. So it switched me completely off of it. Okay, so I'm a little nervous tonight, so hopefully everything works okay. But they say that the other one, the old classic view, is going to go away, so I have to get used to this somehow. So getting some people in here. We'll wait a few more minutes. So how is everybody today? I haven't gotten a whole lot done today. I had to go get some groceries, and it's kind of like weird to go grocery shopping now. So I went out for about an hour, and that's about all. I had enough, so I came back, and I got some. Let's see, what else did I do today? I finished up a couple rows of my quilt. So let me go grab that, and I'll show it to you. I'm working on starting over, so I got another couple rows done. So here's a couple more rows on starting over. This is the bottom half. So I did this row and this row here. So I got a couple more rows done. And got them sewn on. So I think I'll maybe work on that tomorrow too, is work on another row or so of that. And it's turned out pretty good. I like it. And I think I've got about 6 rows left or so to do. I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 here, and I think there's 10 in each half, or maybe 11. So I've either got 5 or 6 left to do. So, okay. So I've been working on that today and got the sewing done. So people are still hearing me okay, right? And on the other on my phone over here, I can see that, oh, somebody went biking. Oh, Marianne went biking, and Lynn's been waiting for her Martelli table. Did it get here? It probably has to come freight. They're really heavy. So I do like the colors of it. I wasn't sure when I first picked the colors if I was really going to like it, but I think I really am. It's soft and very, um, it's soft and very springy, summery and springy looking. So everybody's hearing me okay though, right? Awesome. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to finish our little teddy bears tonight. Hi, Clara. And we're going to finish our little teddy bears tonight. And when I put this together here this week, I was having a little trouble with the stitching and stuff. So I kind of took my time and made some notes about how I put this together, because a lot of people have been having trouble getting it put together. And that has been, I think, the hardest thing for everybody, is just putting the bear together. The embroidery is actually pretty easy, but you do have to be careful with the stuffing, with the muzzle, we found out, and the nose. So that's something we have to be careful of. So okay, so I'm going to turn the camera around here, and hopefully I'll still be able to see the comments okay. So we're going to get the camera turned around here. Here's our little bear over here. So here's the little bear. And so the hardest part about this is not getting too excited about the stuffing and getting too much stuffing in them, because you want the arms to be kind of floppy and the legs to be kind of floppy. So you need to be careful and not get too much stuffing in the bear. So that's kind of, I always have to be careful with that, because I have a tendency to overstuff a little bit. So, okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the stuffing procedure for the arms and the legs, which I have here, were actually part of the embroidery, but we didn't do that last night. I thought we could go over that tonight. So let's do the arms first. And the trick with the arms is, it says carefully stuff with polyfill, about half full, with the filling most compact at the bear's paws for the floppy look. So that's what I needed to really be careful of with myself, is not to get these too tight. So we basically want I'm going to pull this back a little bit. We basically want to fill the little hand part down here and leave all of this unstuffed up here. Okay, so I'm going to get my stuffing, and polyfill works really well. This is the I use Morning Mist, because the polyfill makes my hands break out, so I don't usually use polyfill brand. Okay, so then I'm going to get my little second here. I'm going to get my little turning tool, and we're going to put some stuffing down into, but we're going to put it down into the paw area and not up. We don't want it up in the arm, because we don't want his arms to stick out straight, real stiff. We want them to be soft. Okay, second here. Get it down in there, and then down through the arm part and down into the hand is where we want the stuffing. So we're going to basically stuff this about half full, not terribly hard. Kind of got that. I'm going to cut this. There's some, if you have a piece of the stabilizer in here, it kind of gets in the way. So I know the other one, I had to kind of trim it out. It was just kind of in the way. So I just trimmed it out of there. There we go. Put a little bit more in there, and I usually use kind of small pieces when I'm stuffing. Oops. Okay, get it down into the hand, and again, remember, we're not going to stuff it up too far. We want the arm to be fluffy, or to be floppy, and I don't want it to be too tight, because otherwise the little arms will stick out to the side, and we don't want that. We want them to hang. So I'm going to put this in here. Trying to watch to make sure you can see what I'm doing here. All right, I'm going to put this down in here. And might put just a teeny bit more. But see, I don't want it to be, it's pretty soft. You know, it has form though. See, it made it stuff, but it's got form, but I don't want it to be really hard, okay? You want it to be kind of soft, because these are meant to be fairly soft. And this fabric does stretch quite a bit, so you want to make sure that you're not putting too much stuffing in, okay? All right. But remember, don't put it up into the arm part, just down in the little hand. All right, so I've got it about halfway up, and I'm going to make sure that my hand looks nice and formed. Okay, so there's the bottom one. See, there's nothing up here at all. From about here up, there's nothing. Okay, so let's do the other one. I'm going to cut this out of here, this little piece of stabilizer again. Gets kind of in the way. I have a class tonight too. I get to watch. My doll teacher is going to be having class tonight, and we're going to be watching painting tonight. So I get to go to class after this on Facebook. We're doing googlies. I don't know if you've ever seen a googly before, but a googly is usually a cute little doll with kind of roundish eyes. That the eyes, the little dolls look to the side, and they're always very cute. So antique reproduction doll. So porcelain. So that's what we're making right now. All right, so we're going to put some more stuffing in the second arm here. Ooh, it's getting kind of warm in here. It got warm outside today, and my sewing room is on the southwest corner, and I'm going to be sweaty, especially working with this fuzzy stuff. It's very warm in here. It's about 80 degrees in here right now. All right, so I think I need a little more stuffing in this one yet. Put a little bit more down in there. Whoops. It's hard to keep that fuzzy stuff out of the way. It kind of gets in the way. But I don't like to cut it off on the top, because I want to have a lot to stick inside the arm, so it's easy that you know you're going to catch all the fabric when you go to sew it together. So it makes it easier if you leave some in there. Okay, let's see how this one looks. Getting pretty good. I think there might need to be just a little bit more. See, it's a little bit smaller. Let's put just a little bit more in there. But the trick with this whole thing is don't get overzealous with the stuffing, because otherwise they're going to be too hard, and they're not going to be give you that cute floppy look. That looks pretty good. Okay, so then we got, see, there's no stuffing then in the top of that hand at all. It's all completely, it's just down from here down, okay? So there's the two little hands. So we're going to put the little note back on those so that we don't get them mixed up while we're working with the legs. So let's stuff the legs. Do the same thing with the legs. So put these back over here. And then here's my legs. These are a little easier to stuff because they're larger. A little bigger hole in there to get the stuffing down into. You will have to use a little more stuffing in the legs. So we're going to use the little point turner, and I'm using the back end of it, not the front end, because I don't want to go through this soft fabric. So I'm put this down into the little foot. Unless you will have to put a little more stuffing in. Again, we're going to do the same thing with these, and this was also part of the embroidery instructions. So you want to make sure you only go about halfway up, just like the arms. I know I had a little trouble getting the legs done for some reason. There we go. It's going now. Okay, get that in there. And then, there we go. We'll get a little bit more in there. So you do have to put a little more in the legs. So what's everybody been doing today? It was a beautiful day. Has everybody been outside? It's been really nice. I went out for a walk today. It was really nice out. The whole shopping thing is a little weird now, so I'm not enjoying shopping very much right now. I went out. Yes, yeah, the point turner is really worth it, Denise. It really is. Okay, so I think I'm getting just about where I want. I want a little bit more stuffing in this leg yet. Yeah, the point turner works really well for this. I've always used something like a chopstick. You know, you can use a chopstick, but with the point turner, I've always got it in my drawer, so I've just been using it. That looks pretty good. So we don't want the bear, and again, we want about halfway up, so we want all of this to be empty. Okay, so we just got stuffing in the bottom part of the leg. We'll do the other one, do the same thing. Got to get some stuffing here. Oops. And then we're going to do the other leg. Yeah, the point turners are wonderful. I think I have two of them now because I needed one at the store, so I always had it in my toolbox there too, so I didn't have to I was carrying this one back and forth, the one I keep in my drawer here, so I finally just got a second one. And I use it for a lot of different things, as you can see. All right. And the thing I like about it, it doesn't break, you know, it's metal. And I've had trouble with like the chopsticks when I'm doing this kind of stuff, breaking on me, or I'll chip the end of it or something. So I like the metal. Okay, we need just a little bit more in there yet. I'm just doing, you can see, I'm just doing little bits at a time. I'm not doing tons at a time. And you want it to be smooth once you get it in there. So I kind of push it in there and then I smooth it out. Let's see. Yeah, I think I just need just a little piece yet in the top of the leg. All right, so push this down. And again, I've only gone up about halfway up though on the leg. And we're going to leave the top part all empty so it's nice and floppy. So there's his little legs, okay? Oh, cool, you're working on a quilt sample? Good time to do that. All right, so I'm going to put those together over here then for a minute. And the actual instructions are on the last couple of pages for the assembly. So if you're watching along on the instructions, the last page is on page 15 is the actual assembly instructions. And what I do is, oops, second here, I've got a lot of stuff on my table here. So what I usually do at this point is I put in a piece, I like to use polyester thread for this. I don't have any white standard polyester thread like Mettler thread. So I have got just my embroidery thread in the bobbin and the needle right now, just because I didn't have any white to use that was just standard sewing thread. But you want it to be a strong thread because, you know, kids are going to be carrying this around or whatever, and you want it to be a strong sewing thread. So I wouldn't recommend a cotton thread because it's kind of soft and it doesn't hold a lot of strength. So I would definitely use a polyester. So that's why I stuck some embroidery thread in here. And I'm going to use so what we're going to be doing is we're going to put the little arms and legs into the body, and then we're going to zigzag them on. Now with this furry stuff, you're not going to see any of those stitches. They just kind of bury right down into the little fur, and you don't even see it. I did do one in the fleece. So the fleece, see, you can see the little stitches there. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, and on his little legs. But it looks fine. And I just use very matchy thread. So if you're making something out of cotton, just you match your thread pretty good, because if you make a little bit of a boo-boo, it's not going to show much. Okay, so this one I thought looked pretty good, even though it wasn't, you could still see the stitches. All right. But with the white one, as you can see, you really can't even see them because they just bury right down into the little fuzzy fleece. Okay, so we need our body, and we got to make sure that we get everything on correctly. So there's a picture on page 15 that shows which direction the legs go and the arms go. So I'm going to start with the legs. I usually start with the legs. And since I have this bigger piece up at the top here, this works pretty well. And there's the holes in the body where the legs go. Now the legs, if you look at the picture, have the little toes kind of pointing in. So they look, because the little bear's kind of got pigeon toes. So the little toes are pointing in like this, okay? So this is going to be on the other side. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide this leg into the body. Oops. Like that. All right, and let's see if I get this just a little closer. It's hard for me to know. The camera is so different on this new thing, so it's hard for me to tell where my camera is. And I'm going to make sure that my fabric is turned under on the front and the back. And I can kind of tell where my leg is in there because I can tell that it's about up to where the stitching ended, because I want to push it in there so that it's up to about where the stitching ended, so that the legs aren't like super, super long or something. And then there's a big piece of that fabric, you know, up in here, but it gives us something to really get a hold of then when we're stitching. So what I'm going to do is I've got this all pushed in. It looks pretty good. Make sure it's all pushed in on this side, okay? And then I'm going to put this under my foot. I have chosen a zigzag stitch, and I usually use 1-10, and I have set it up with the default settings that are on the machine. It's normally 3.5 millimeters wide and 1.4 millimeters long. And that seemed to work pretty well for this, for the putting the little legs on. So I'll get a little closer so you can see. And I'm going to put this under my foot. Get my instructions out of the way here. Got everything kind of lined up, and I'm going to put this under my foot, and I'm going to start just in front of where the leg is and put my foot down. And I'm going to drop my needle, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And I'm going to push down on my foot control and move it over to the other side and tie a second knot. So I have a couple of knots there at the beginning. And then to get this to start, you want to kind of push in a little bit from the front. And it will go over it, because if you've got your automatic height adjustment on, which we talked about in the class a week or so ago, okay, and I'm just going to zigzag to the other side of the leg, and I'm going to tie a knot, and then I'm going to push my foot controller down one time and tie a knot on the other side. So I've got 2 knots there, and then I'm going to cut. Let's see how we did. So it looks pretty good. Whoops, I got a piece of thread there. That looks pretty good, and it's on there real tight, and you really can't even see it. And if you take your fingernail and kind of push over the stitches there, it'll all actually, the little hair will come out of the stitching, and you won't even see it, the stitching line at all. So I got a little long thread here, so I'm going to trim off. Okay, so let's put the other leg in. Now the goal of this, of course, is to get the legs about the same length. So let's see how Jan does tonight. So here's that hole on the other side of the body here. Everybody still hearing me okay? I can't tell, so I'm hoping you're all able to see me. Everybody hearing me okay? You're going to have to say something or like type, because I can't tell from thumbs ups anymore, because I can't see any of that stuff. All right, well, whoops, got his leg a little short. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get that leg the same length as the other one. Push in the little flaps on the body. Lay it down here so I can tell. I think I still got a little shorter. Let's see here. I'm going to hold it up and look at it myself. What do you think? I'll hold it up so you can see it. I think I got him. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay. I think that looks pretty good. And I'm trying, you know, I tried to keep it so that it showed up about where the stitching line was, but I think that looks pretty good. You have to kind of hold it up. Okay, I think we're good. So I've got my other second leg in there. I'm going to make sure that the body is pushed down. Okay, make sure the body's pushed down and across there in the back. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this under my foot, put my foot down. I'm going to drop my needle. I'm going to tie a knot. And I'm using the button, just the button here. I'm not backing up. I'm using the tie knot in place button, okay? Because that really works better for this type of thing. And then if you just tap your foot controller, it'll switch over to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, let's make sure we got this tucked in, and then I'm going to have to give it a little push from the front here. I don't push very often, but you have to kind of just give it a little help to get it up, started over the bump. There we go. Oops, this one's being a little more difficult. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm getting to the other side. I'm going to go in a couple more stitches. I'm going to put a knot. Is this a double tap foot controller? No, Gail, this is actually just, the foot controller that comes with the Quattro. That's the foot controller I like. So that's the one I have. And even those little teeny ones that come with the machines. So I think looks like the leg's pretty good. And if you take your finger and just, if you got the fur, just kind of work the fur out of the stitches, and then you can't even see where the stitches are at all. Okay, and I got a little, whoops, got a little tail here. Where'd the other end of it go? Here it is. All right, so there's our legs. The legs are on. What do you think? You think everybody can do that? So I think we got our legs. They look pretty good. So then the little armholes are up here. Now I had a little trouble with the arms because you got to make sure that you get the arms on the right way. So I had a little trouble with the arms. They do have a right and a wrong. And so when I looked at the picture, you can see that the little arm, see if I lay this down here, you can see it. This part of the arm kind of goes down, so this is his little hand. So we want the angle to go this way, and so this arm goes on this side and this arm goes on this side, like this. So you just want to make sure you get them on the right way. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to do one at a time. So I'm going to, here's the hole, and I'm going to slide this arm into the armhole. And I didn't even, I didn't really trim any of that off of the top. I just kind of left it because then I knew I was going to be catching it because I had plenty inside of the arm or inside of the body. So I'm going to make sure, see there's this little flap, we got to make sure everything's turned in so we don't have any raw fabric showing on his arm. That looks pretty good. Make sure I kind of up where the stitching is, I can kind of see it. I think I need to stick it in just a little bit more from the bottom. Just a second here. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right. Make sure we got the ends laying nicely. And I'm going to, whoops, works better for me to put his legs up. So we're going to go in, and then we're going to do the same thing. Where that little area is, I'm going to slide it under my foot. And I want to start just kind of in front of the arm. I'm going to put the foot down. I'm going to drop my needle, and I'm going to tie a knot. So we'll tie a knot, and then I'm going to tap my foot controller. Whoops. Let's tap it just one time. Come on. There it goes. Whoops. It's being naughty to me tonight. Usually if you just kind of tap your foot controller, it just drops the needle on the other side. Mine's being naughty. Okay. And then we're going to give it just a little bit of help. You don't want to push too hard. We're going to zigzag up to the top of that arm. Okay. And I'm going to tie another knot. And then I'm going to tie a knot on the other side. And I am basically sewing like right on the very edge of that little flap. That's the body flap. Okay. Looks pretty good. And again, just take your finger along the little seam line. on both sides, and then you can't even see where that seam is going to be. Okay, so there's his first arm. We got his arm on. Okay, and then put this one on. Now this one, I got to make sure I get it the right way. This is the one I always have trouble with. So I want my hand to go this way. So it's going to go on this way. And we're going to slide this in through that little hole. Then again, we got to make sure that we get them about the same length. All right. Let's see here. Make sure we get them about the same length here. And I'm checking the back to make sure I've got it rolled in nicely. And I'm going to kind of look at my arms and see if they're about the same length. This one might be a little shorter, so we'll pull this one out just a little bit. I think I got them right. I look at the picture on page 15. That helps me make sure I get them on there correctly. I had trouble with my first one. I think I had to rip an arm off because I think I got it on backwards. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so then we're going to lay this in here. And this one's going to go the other direction, so, oops. My foot's being kind of contrary with me tonight, so we're going to get right on top of where that fold is. I'm going to put my foot down, drop my needle, and I'm going to tie a knot. Okay. And then we'll tap the foot controller. I'm going to tie another knot. And then I'm going to put my finger right here so that if I need to give it just a little encouragement up over that bump to get it started. There it goes. We're not pushing, just give it a little encouragement. And I'm going to go to the bottom of the arm and I'm going to tie a knot. And then tap this over to the other side and we'll tie another knot. Okay, and then we're going to cut. All right. See how we did here. Oh, that looks pretty good. And again, do the same thing. I kind of like take my fingernail over those stitches and then you really don't even see where the stitches are. So there's his little body. Looks like I got a couple little threads that need to be trimmed here. So we'll trim a couple of these little threads off. And oops, I got some of the plastic stuff on his heart, so we'll take some of that off of there. Okay. Let's see if we got a bunch of other threads. I think there was a couple little threads on his legs down here. Get some of those off there. Looks pretty good. All right. So we got arms and legs. So what do you think? We're getting close here. We're gonna make it. Looks like it's starting to look like a little bear. And again, with this being soft up here, see the little arms are gonna droop. Because the little arms droop nicely on this one. You know, you want to be able to hang on to it like this and see how they're nice and droopy. So that's the trick, is don't get the stuffing up too high. Don't make it too hard even down in the hands, okay? And the legs are not too hard. They're still there. They're still stuffing, but it's not very hard. All right. So now, the second step, we're going to put stuffing into the body. All right, and the same thing with the body. You don't want your body to be too hard, but you want it to have a nice little round look. So we'll get the body down. We're going to get our stuffing and get some. I'm going to take a little smaller piece. That's kind of big. So let me push this down again so you can see what I'm doing. Do little pieces at a time. That helps. And we'll use and this I can actually get my hand down in here to put the stuffing down in the body. And I put little pieces at a time. Oops. Let's get a little smaller piece. So we're gonna, oops. This one I don't need my point turner as bad because I can kind of put my fingers in there. And like I said, I want it to have a nice shape, but I don't want it to be very hard. So try not to make it too hard. So how is the video, everybody? Is the video clear? On my phone, it does not look clear. I hope that the recording is better. On my phone is not clear at all. Can you guys type me and let me know? It's like this whole new things that, you know, Facebook likes to change things. So, okay, so I want it to be firm. I want it to be, like a nice rounded area. Like there's a kind of an empty spot over here, so I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of stuffing over here. But I don't want it to be really hard. I just want it to have a nice shape, because you want these little bears to be soft. A little pixelated, very clear. Okay. So I don't know. I am using the new version of this, and I'm not sure that I like it. This is the new version of the software, so I may use the old one until I can't. So I'm sorry if it's not quite right, because I might not have set something up right, so I need to go look at it again, because I thought I had it all figured out today, but there might be something not set up right. Okay. So I've got a little spot in here that I'm not liking. And again, I'm not trying to make it too hard, but you want him to have a nice little body. Okay, and then you can kind of smooth it out. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so there's his little body. See, it's nice and soft down here, so his arms and legs drape, but the body's has nice body to it, or a nice shape. Okay. All right, so I think that'll be okay. I'm not sure if I like this little part up here yet, so. All right, now the stitching goes up to about right here, and we're going to turn this down into the body, but I think I need to turn it down, and then I'm going to add a little more stuffing, so you can kind of see where the stitching ends. And I'm going to stuff that top part down into the body, so we have plenty down in the body, and I might need to put just a little bit more stuffing in there, but I'm not sure. I think I might leave it for right now, because that's about where the neck is going to be. Okay, so I just stuffed those little pieces down inside. All right. Okay, so there's the little body with the little tails stuffed into the top. So we're going to set that aside, and now we're going to work on the head. I got to find my head here just a minute. Okay, yeah, see, it looks really clear on my screen, but I don't know, maybe there's some sort of setting I should have changed. So I apologize if it's not quite right tonight, because I'm going to have to figure out what all I have to do. Okay, so the ears actually do have a right and wrong. You can kind of see they're kind of curved this way, and then this one's curved this way. So this is actually this side ear, and this is this one. So you have to kind of look to see which way you think they look good. So I know the first one I did, I think I had the ears on backwards, so I had to take them off. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with the ears. We're not going to put any stuffing inside the ears though. So I'm going to start with the one on this side, and there's that hole, where it left that opening, and I want to make sure I tuck my head material down in there, and I'm going to stick the little ear down in there, and make sure I get it where I want it. Oops. Like that. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did with the arms and legs with the little ear. So get it all kind of where you want it. Got lots of fur on my foot. Okay, and then I'm going to start in front of the ear again, just like I did with the arms and legs. And this will be a little easier because there's no stuffing in the ear. So, okay, so I'm going to drop my needle. I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to tap my foot controller and go over there and tie a second knot. Okay, and then make sure I got everything lined up, and then we're just going to zigzag across this ear. Okay. It's going, and just stop on the other side of the ear. I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot. and then tap my foot controller and tie another knot. And then we'll cut. So then we got one ear on. Okay, so here's his little ear. Looks like we did pretty well. And again, just kind of pick the fur out a little bit. Okay, and then let's get this other ear on. So then we'll put the other one on. Stick those little tabs in there. Get this one in where we want it. Okay, let's see here. Oops. This stuff's a little soft, so it is a little hard to work with, but I actually, it was better than I thought it was going to be. The first one I made actually went better than I anticipated. I was thinking I would be using the fleece to show you, but I actually kind of like the furry stuff after I worked with it. So, okay, so we got it in there the way we want. We'll make sure, you know, his ears kind of match. That's the goal, right? To get his ears kind of match. And, you know, I think I might have got one of his ears on backwards. Let me look here. Yep, I did. This one needs to go this way, I think. Sorry. Take it out and look at it again. Does that look better? Yeah, I think so. I think I put it on backwards the first time. We'll try that again. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better, don't you think? What do you think? I have a hard time with the ears. I never can tell. So one of them may be backwards, but I don't know that it really matters too much. There's a little teeny bit of a difference. I think that looks okay though. All right. So I'm going to start in front of that other ear. Put my foot right on top of where that seam is going to be and drop my needle. Let's tie a knot. Then we're going to drop the needle on the other side and tie another knot. And then I'm going to put my finger right here where that seam is, and I may have to give it just a little bit of help up over the hole. If you have that automatic height adjustment on there, it really makes it easier. So make sure you have it turned on your machine. Okay, I need to take another stitch. I'm going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to drop the needle on the other side and tie a knot. And then I'm going to cut. All right. So I think we got the ears on. It looks like I've got a couple little threads here, so we'll get these threads out of the way. And again, you know, pick the little hairs out of the stitches so you won't even see them. Makes a big difference. And you just take a minute to do that. I got a couple little hairs back here that we need to cut. All right. Our little bear has ears. Okay, so then we need to put stuffing in the head. And this is where a lot of people have problems with the bears. I mean, I've been reading stuff about the bears, and I had trouble with my first one too, but I found a little trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to stuff the head. And again, you don't want your head to be like, you know, super, super hard. We want it to be firm, but not hard. And my body feels pretty good. Yeah, I think my body's okay, so I'm happy with the body. All right, so let's get some stuffing in the head. But I found a trick putting the head on that really worked for me. So let's get some stuffing in the head. And this was really soft. So I had to do a little bit of playing with the stuffing to make the head look so it wasn't like lopsided, because this fabric is kind of soft. And remember, we have some like stabilizer in here. So yeah, see, now it's clear on my phone now. I just looked over at the phone and it's clearer now on my phone. I don't know what the deal is. It could be just Facebook. Facebook is weird. And I think everybody and their cousin Fred's on Facebook right now, so I think that's part of it. Okay, so we're going to make our head. We want our head to be firm, but not hard. And we want it to have a nice, pleasant shape. So I'm kind of working the stuffing in to the head. Looks pretty good. Starting to look better. And a little bit more though, I think. All right. Just about. Now, this was the little trick that I figured out, is if that, I left all that fabric at the bottom of the neck here, and it only sewn up to about right here. Okay, I left the fabric in that neck, the bottom, and I put more stuffing in the neck. I think I'm happy with the shape of my head. What do you think? Does it look okay? I need to do a little bit of removal of the stitches right around the nose, but I'll do that afterwards. But because it kind of sticks, the little fur sticks in the stitches, and if I do that a little bit more, it'll be prettier in the top. But what I want to do is I want to make a neck on the head part. This is what worked better for me when I was putting the head on, because I know a lot of people said they were struggling with the head. So I made a neck with that extra fabric that was down here, and then I kind of squeezed it like this so that it had a little neck that would go into the top of the body. Okay, and that's where I put the stuffing. Instead of so much of it in the body, I put it in the neck of the head. And then I'm going to kind of squeeze it down here like that and make him look like he has a neck. Okay, now this was the other little trick I figured out from some other things that I've made. I've got a piece of felt over here. This is what works good for me with the head. So what I did, hopefully you'll be, I'm going to pull this back a little bit so you can see more of my hands. I'm going to take the neck of, this is the body, okay, and make sure you've got all that fabric pushed down inside the body, all right, that extra fabric. Then I'm going to take the head, and let's get this other one open. I'm going to take some safety pins. This is what worked for me to get the head on so that I could get it so it would stay on while I was trying to work with it. So I'm going to have to get closer to the table because I need to push down a little bit. Okay. So let's put this back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I've got him sitting on the edge of my table. I'm going to make this neck smaller, a little smaller. And I'm going to actually stick this head and neck down inside the body. And this is what worked for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get the seam over here on the side of the neck lined up with the side of the body. And I had to do this a little bit at a time. It was a little bit tough, so hopefully you'll be able to see me what I'm doing. Then I'm going to take my safety pin. I'm going to try to get those lined up. I'm going to take my safety pin and I'm going to stab through the neck on the body and through the head and out the other side just to hold it on, because then I've got something attached here. Okay, and then I can work the head down into the body all the way around. And let's go get the other seam first. Okay, so we're going to go over here and get this other seam and do the same thing. I'm going to stick the neck and I'm trying to line up those seams on the side. And it may not be pretty right now, but it will be once we get it. But I just need to get it attached so that I have something to work with here. There we go. Safety pins seem to work for me. Did I get it? Okay, so now I've got his head attached, and see, now I can take that extra fabric that we rolled down, I can pull it up a little bit on this back and a little bit in the front, and see, now I think his head's going to look pretty good. I think it's a little bit, I need to put just a little bit more stuffing in here. See, I didn't get him quite stuffed, so let's take his head off for a second. I'm going to put just a little teeny bit of stuffing in the bottom of the neck there, in the body part, because I wasn't sure. Sometimes I get it too tight, so put just a little bit of stuffing down in this part, because the little chest, like right underneath the heart, needs to be just a little bit more stuffed, so that his little head doesn't wobble. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing. Get that in there. And I'm going to find those seams. Here's my neck. We'll do the same thing. So that's good. Then you got to see me do this twice. So I'm going to line up the seams from the side of the body and the side of the head, and see if I can safety pin it on. Second here, got to rework a little bit here. This was a little hard, and once I got it on there and I figured out that the safety pins worked better for me, then I could get a hold of it and I could rearrange it before I went to sew it together. And then it was nicely arranged and wasn't going to come off while I was sewing, because you're going to have to hand sew the rest of this on. Okay, so whoops, I missed. Let's try that again. I missed. All right, we'll get it this time. Make sure I get his head on the right way. It'd be terrible if I got his head on backwards, poor little guy. All right, let's see if we can stab in there now. It's a little hard to get it started. Once you get it started, there we go. I think I got it. Don't try not to stab yourself. I did that the other day, and then I bled on the other one, of course. All right, so then we're going to go over and get his head on the other side here. I'm looking for that seam so I can keep his head straight. Okay, and then we'll push the pin in. There we go. There we go. That's good, looking good. Now see, I've got to tuck this back in. So we'll get the back tucked in. And get the front tucked in. Okay. That looks a lot better. So what do you think? Did we do okay? So there's our little head. And now we got to sew it on. So you're going to have to sew this on by hand, okay? So I left the pins in, the safety pins in. Got to pull the back up a little bit more here, just a second. Okay, I left the safety pins in until I had to take them out. Whoops, just made my machine mad. Just a second, there we go. All right, so I'm going to start back here. And I'm going to take my needle and thread, and I've got a double thread on here, and this is actually sewing thread. I didn't have any white. It's kind of a cream color, but you won't see it when we do this. So we're going to do something called a ladder stitch, and I don't know how many of you have ever made dolls, but we use the ladder stitch in doll making a lot. And what you're going to do is I'm going to take a stitch through the head here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to try to get this a little bit closer. Okay, and I'm going to take a second stitch right where I did the first one, and then I'm going to, here's my tail right here, and I'm going to put the needle through and I'm going to twirl it around it a couple times and make a knot there. So I've got a really good knot. Okay. Then I'm going to go back and forth between the head and the body like this, like a ladder stitch, going back and forth, and you take a stitch towards the direction you're going. Now I am left-handed, so you may be going the other direction, okay? I'm sorry, I have to stitch with my left hand when it comes to hand stitching. So I'm going to take a little stitch in the body, and then I'm going to take a stitch, go a little forward and take a stitch in the head, and then come down and take, and I'm going basically straight across from each other. Take a stitch in the body, and then a stitch in the head, work my way across a little bit higher, to the right, I should say, a little further to the right, and then I'm going to go down into the body. Okay, and then what you do is you pull, and it's like a zipper. It's almost like a zipper, and it zips the fabric together, and you can't even see the stitches. So I'm going to go back to the head here, and then I'm going to go back to the body, and I'm going straight across from each other. I'm not doing a whip stitch. I'm just taking a straight stitch on the body and then a straight stitch in the head, and basically straight across from each other. And I'll take maybe 3 or 4 stitches, and then I'm going to pull, and it pulls it tight like a zipper. Okay. Then we're going to go to the body. Since I was in the head the last, I'm going to Go up into the head and down into the body. Now I'm going to have to take this pin out in a minute that I put over on the side of the head. I think I can take a couple more stitches without taking, well, maybe not. I may have to take it out. Because I've got the back of it kind of, and I'm going to make sure that I've got it all pushed down, and I'm going to hold it down now. So I'm holding his head down, so until I get a few stitches where I took that pin out. Okay. Second here. I'm up in the head, down in the body, about straight across. Okay, up into the head. I'm just taking a little stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to pull. This is a wonderful, wonderful stitch because you can't see it, and you can do a lot of fixing with it too. So I've got a little goofy little spot here. Just a second. I got to see if I can get my thread to come out. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go back to the head. Got a piece of fur in there that's getting in my way. Just a minute. Okay, just a second. Let me get that fur out of there. There we go. Okay, I'm down into the body. This is the hardest part, is getting the head on. But if you get those pins in there, it really helps because it just holds the head in place for you, and then you can just take the pin out as you're going. Okay, I'm making sure that my neck is where I want it. Okay. Okay, and I'm up into the head. Whoops, second here. Yeah, I've made a lot of dolls in my life, and that we use this ladder stitch a lot for the doll making. I made a lot of like soft sculpture dolls, and that's what we use this for all the time. Okay, so I'm going to go down into the body, but you can still see me. Your stitches look like they are large, but you're saying tiny. I'm taking a tiny little stitch to the right. I'm taking it to the right. You'll be taking it to the left. Okay, because I'm left-handed, so I'm taking just a tiny little stitch when I'm taking the stitch into it, but it looks long because it's up and down. Okay, because my stitch that I'm taking into the fabric is pretty small. Go back up into the head, and if you go look up a ladder stitch on the internet, it'll show you what a ladder stitch looks like. And it might be easier if you saw it on a piece of like regular fabric, and then you can see. But you take short stitches that you're going this way, and then the stitches are longer this way, but then it pulls everything together really tight. And you really don't have to go over this more than one time. I think I did go over the head twice just because I didn't want it to come off. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Take a couple stitches. I'm in the front of the face here. You want to get down under the chin. And I'm taking little stitches into the body. And I'm going to pull. And then we'll go up into the head. And again, I'm trying to keep the stitches parallel. Remember the first time I saw this stitch, I was making a hand sculpted doll. And we used this to make the shape of the back so that the doll had a shape to the back. And oh my gosh, it was just like magic because you did this little stitch and it just zipped it up and you couldn't even see the stitches afterwards. It was kind of cool. Okay. So I'm down in the body right now, so I'm getting just about ready to have to take this other pin out. Just a second here. If I can get a hold of it. So I'm going to go up into the head because I was down in the body before. And then down this way. But yeah, if you go look up the ladder stitch, it may show you some stitches on regular fabric that'd be a little easier to see it. Okay, and then but the stitch I'm taking, then when I take a stitch in, is just real small. I'm down into the neck. Okay, let's go around. We're getting just about around, so I'm up in the head, down into the body. parallel. And then up, and that's why you want double thread, because you got to pull on it. You don't want it to break on you. So I'm up in the head. Okay, and then oops, down into the body. And we're just about around to where we started. So I'm going to go up into the head again, down into the body. See if I can get it. There's so much hair. And you really won't see this. I mean, it's going to be very, you're really not going to see it. And especially when I fluff the hair up here a little bit. But I remember using this stitch the first time we were using that multiple stretchy fabric. It's like we made bodies out of this fabric. And oh my gosh, it was just like magic. Okay. And then I'm going to go, I got a couple more stitches I need to take here. So we're all the way around and down into the body. Okay. And I'll kind of show you on another piece of fabric the stitch so you can kind of see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up into the head, take a stitch. I'm going to take a second stitch, and then I'm going to pull a loop, and I'm going to twirl the needle through the thread twice, and then pull it tight because that ties a really strong knot in there. Okay, and then I'm going to trim that off. And then just going to kind of take my fingernail along that stitch line and fluff it up. And that's why then if you put a little bow around her neck, she's going to look, I think, oh, so somebody asked about, let me back up a little bit. I can't see the comments too well. Do you think there's a way to attach the head to the body on software and make them together in a bigger hoop? No, not the way they have it put together, Denise, I don't think. Your stitches look like they are large, but they're saying tiny. How long? So like I'm taking a stitch about this long when I'm going to the left or the right, depending on which hand you're using. Stuff down through the whole left in the top of the head. Yeah, you might be able to, but I don't know. I don't know that. Then you're still got to get you have to get the arms and legs on. So the head's really not hard to put on this way if you use the safety pins. Okay. I don't think you're going to get any dimension with it either, Lynn, because I don't think you're going to have the dimension here at the neck. And you can see this actually looks pretty good. I mean, you can't really see where I've stitched. I mean, if I play with this just a little bit more, you can't really see where I've stitched. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of ribbon. Cut off a piece of ribbon here, and we're going to give her a little bow on her. This one's going to be a girl, I think, because I'm going to put a pink bow on her. We've got all these little girls that need teddy bears for Easter, so I guess I'll make little girly pink teddy bears and give her a little bow around her neck. I'm not very good at bows, so I like to buy double-sided ribbons so that it's the same on both sides, because then it's easier if you make a mistake with the bow. All right, so there is the little bow. And then I'll show you the stitch again too. Trim that off a little bit. I still haven't got that very good, do I? I always have trouble with one side of the bow. Usually one side looks really good and the other side doesn't. I'm not a very good bow tire. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll put the little bow over here, and I'll make it a little smaller yet, and then I'll trim the ends off. I'm not quite happy with it yet, so we'll do that, and I'll do that afterwards and take a picture of it. But what do you think? And some of the people were putting little bows up in the hair, or they're putting little buttons up on their ears. Let's see. I was asking, what is the space distance between each stitch? Not very much. I mean, it's just a little bit. Let me do a stitch on this other piece of fabric here so you can see it. So what I did is, you take this out so maybe you can see it on here. So the stitch that I'm doing is, let's see how the best way to do it. So I'm doing, okay, so I started off, let me put a knot in this real quick because we can take a few stitches with this. Okay, so I'm going to take a knot, I'm going to do a knot like this, and I want to turn, I want to take my needle and tie and wrap it around there a couple of times and then pull it tight because then it makes a really good strong knot. Okay, get this a little bit closer. And then what I was doing is I was going parallel. The stitches are parallel and you're taking just a little stitch. So let's say I want to go up here and take a little stitch. See, it's not very big. Okay, and then I'm going to go straight down over here, and the stitches maybe are 1/4 of an inch apart, and I'm just taking a little small stitch, but they're going to stay parallel. And I'm going to go back up here and back down like this, back up. So the stitches are pretty close together like that. And then what I do when I pull this, watch when I pull it, what happens. You can't even tell that there are any white threads in there. That's a ladder stitch. And normally I don't pull it till I get more of it done, so I can pull it all at the same time, so we'll do a little bit more. But see how my stitches are pretty close together. But that's a way that you can mend things too, that if you need, like if you've got a hole in a pair of jeans, you can do this little stitch and it just zips it shut and you won't even see the stitches. You can use any color thread you want and you won't even see it. Okay, so see how my stitches are just very close together and parallel to one another. And that's the trick, is to make them parallel like that. And then pull the zipper like that. And look, see how it doesn't even show. And that's what I was doing. And it was holding the head and the, put the bear's head towards you, then tie. For some reason, upside down makes, oh yeah, that's true. Upside down works really well, Jackie. That's a good idea. So go look it up on the website, or on just Google the ladder stitch, and I think you'll find a little bit more information about the ladder stitch. Yeah, it's a good idea, Jackie. If you hold it like this, like you're tying it up on yourself, it is easier to get it. So okay, so what do you think? We got a little bear. Let's pull this back so you can see the little bear. What do you think? It's soft and floppy. It's not hard, and the head doesn't flop around. It's got nice ears. So what do you think? I think she's cute. So I'm going to make these up for my friend Tammy's little granddaughters for Easter and send them to her. She'll get a kick out of them. Tammy doesn't sew or doesn't do anything like crafts. She's never been crafty at all. So I've always made all kinds of stuff for the kids and stuff. So now she has grandchildren. So what do you think? Did you like the little safety pin trick for the head, to hold the head on while you worked with it? Because that really helps a lot. And then if you just put a little ribbon around the neck, it looks beautiful. And I'm going to make this bow a little bit smaller, and then we'll cut it off. Let's trim this ends here. I don't like the ends that long. See if I can get them trimmed. There we go. There we go. What do you think? Here's my little bear. So is everybody going to make a few bears? Make sure you post them on the group. I would love to see your little teddy bears. But yeah, the safety pin worked really good for the, okay. How do we sign up for Floriani on Friday, Gail? You need to go to our shieldsewingcenter.com and go to there's a class registration page, and you can just register right online. And then I will be getting I haven't got it yet. They're going to be sending me a link to be emailing to everybody. But make sure and when you pay with PayPal, Gail, it'll give me your email address, so I'll have it. I think I have yours anyway, so. Okay, so make sure everybody posts your little teddy bears. I'm anxious to see them. And I've been having fun making them. I was a little worried about this whole white one, so I think I might have gotten one of his arms a little longer than the other. But you know what? It's okay. One of the arms is a little longer than the other one, but I did that on the other one, I think, too. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, there will be gifts. There's special gifts that you'll get at the store, and they will be either at the Davenport store or can you pay with a credit card for items online? Yes, you can, Marianne. The gifts from the Floriani event, they will send them to the Iowa City store, but then if you live in the Davenport area, I'll send them down there as well. So you can pick them up. If you really need it mailed, you can let me know. Okay. Because they'll send them. They probably won't send them right away because we're not there every day to let them in, get the stuff out of in the store. So it's been kind of a weird week, hasn't it? So I'm not quite used to the staying at home thing. So yes, you can. So if you want to come to the Floriani event, if you want to come to the Floriani event, you can just go to the website, just go to shieldsewingcenter.com, and then go to the class registration page, and it's up there where you can register. So if we already registered for the original class, no, Deb, you're already registered, but I still haven't found out about the recording yet. So I will let you know as soon as I know. I need to email her in the morning. I didn't hear back from Beth today, so she must not have gotten an answer today. So I will email her in the morning about that for a couple of you that were signed up that may be working on Friday. So, because I'm hoping they'll have a recording also that you can go in later and watch it. So, okay. So are there any other questions? Everybody ready to make teddy bears? I think they're cute. So this is the one I made tonight, and this is the one I made the other night. So, yep. So I got two little teddy bears from my friend Tammy's little girls. So I'll make a couple more. Marcia, no, I am going to be teaching with PEP. I don't use the Floriani software really. They have a lot of stuff available for you. Oh, you got the day off. Oh, yay, Deb, that's wonderful. So yes, so no, you're already signed up, so you don't have to go back again. If you have not signed up for the Floriani event in the past, then you have to sign up. But if you've already signed up, you're good. No, Marcia, I'm actually going to be using the PEP software for the most part. So the next class that we have on this coming Sunday is going to be a software class. So it will be on the Sessions on Software group instead of this group. So that will be Sunday night, and we're going to be doing the Easter Bunny. Did you see the little? I think everybody's seen it. We're going to digitize the little Easter Bunny banner, and this is done with puffy foam. So we're going to use the puffy foam, the puffy foam stuff, the puffy foam stitch to do this. So this is what we're going to do on Sunday night on Sessions on Software. So we won't have a sew along with Jan this week. It'll be a software class this week. Okay, are there any other questions? So if you want to get into the Floriani event, go sign up. There's still room, and I'm really kind of looking forward to it. It sounds like it'll be fun. Kathy Quinn is going to be one of the educators, and there's going to be 3 educators, and then one of them will be Trevor Conquergood. So we're going to have Trevor, Kathy, and then the other gal's name is Judy something. It's a long name. I couldn't remember what it is. So. Oh, good, Deb. I'm so glad you got the day off. Okay, so I want to see everybody's pictures of their teddy bears when you get them done. Okay, and I'm going to try to get a couple more of these done for my I have grand nieces now. I didn't know that I was old enough to be a grandmother, but I guess I am. So there is no pickup after purchase online. I don't understand what that means, Marcia. For the product, you mean? You mean for the for the stuff on our website. We're not at the store every day, so you need to have, we'll have to ship it to you, because, and if you want to pick it up there, I can make an arrangement for you to come over and get it. So I'm not there every day, and neither is Tim. I'm just going when I need to go. So, okay. So if you want to pick it up, make a note in the box when you're buying stuff and say, hey, I want to pick this up at the store. Call me when you'll be there or whatever, and that's fine. Otherwise, I'll ship it over to you. So since we're not there every day, I can't tell you when I'm going to be there. So I am going to go over tomorrow and be there for a couple hours in the morning because I have to get a package. So there's a package and I have to ship a couple of packages. So I will be there for a couple hours tomorrow. Okay. All right. So everybody, I'll see everybody on Sunday night for sessions on software, and we'll be doing the little Easter bunny. And then the next class will be, what's the next class? The next class after that is going to be, we're going to sew the Easter bunny, and that's on Easter Sunday. So we're going to sew that out and talk about the settings page on our machines. So good night, everybody. Thanks for coming and spending your evening with me. And I'm going to go to class now. It starts in about 15-20 minutes. So, okay. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening. Bye.